Hello Aries, Aries Rising and Aries Moon people. This is your weekly astrological and card horoscope for the week starting May 8th, 2017. And a quick reminder for you all out there, remember if you ever do want to get a session with me, you do need to go to my website, integrativemysticism.com. There's a self-scheduling application on that website, or you can order a downloadable video file. So what is going on with the energies of this week in the astrology? Well, in the beginning of the week, on Tuesday, we've got the Sun forming a gorgeous connection from Taurus in your earned income sector to Pluto in your 10th house of career. And it's a really nice angle to see two money areas turn on in such a nice way, because what's happening is at some point this week, a commitment is going to be given to you from an authority figure that has been owed to you, something that you've earned, something that you've had coming. Maybe it's been on delay. This could be an opportunity for you to finally actually try a role on for size. This could be even a former employment opportunity coming back with a better option or a better role for you. Remember, Pluto is currently retrograde, so whatever is coming out of this commitment with your work life, with your financial life, is kind of giving you back money that you didn't know you had, or maybe again, some kind of big breakthrough at work that you didn't know you had coming, but you had already earned. So it could be a very interesting turn of events in the beginning of the week. The latter half of the week also has some good energies because we've got the Mars, planet of action, energy, and commitment, conviction, conviction, to a degree commitment. Promises made under Mars tend to be like blood vows. Mars is going to be forming a gorgeous connection to Jupiter, currently in your 7th house of partnerships. Now Jupiter itself and Mars coming together does indicate some kind of rapid advancement in a one-on-one relationship, in a one-on-one partnership, whether in Jupiter's retrograde right now, so we're trying to make up for lost time. If a relationship has been progressing inordinately slow, okay, inordinately slow. If you're trying to get married in 2 weeks, you're crazy. But, if it's been going a bit slow, this can be a good speed up in a lot of ways. This can also accelerate possibly the developments towards some kind of big union that you are planning in a close one-on-one relationships, whether it be, platonic, romantic, or professional. But Mars and Jupiter together tends to create a big rush, a big surge of energy, but luckily everyone involved is going to enjoy this rush. It's not an uncomfortable hurry. So what is going on in your cards this week? Well, for your spiritual advice, we do have the card of the Wizard upright. And the Wizard is saying, this is not a week to be pulling punches. The Wizard tends to show up in a situation where maybe we have been self-censoring, maybe we've been handling people with kid gloves, maybe we've been sugarcoating a little bit too much, and it's starting to mislead people. And sometimes we get in a situation where we try and water something down so much so it's palatable that the message is lost entirely. And there may be some need for some corrections there when it comes to handling people this week. The Wizard, when we think of the Wizards, I think I mentioned this for another sign last week, when you think about wizards in general, you think about like the Dumbledore, the Gandalf, all those people did not pull punches. Those people, did what was right to get the job done. They weren't, they were not afraid to let their observations, their feelings, and their wisdom be known. And they certainly didn't coddle. And this is kind of an energy that you need to learn how to embody this week. Especially if you feel like maybe we've been trying too hard to, again, soften a blow. Maybe it just needs to be delivered as is. For your Earth sector, when it comes to your work and finances, we do have the Two of Swords reversed. Again, there is some kind of commitment being made official when it comes to the workplace. The Two of Swords reversed can indicate a hire, something confirmed, something being put on paper, something being signed, ratified. In fact, usually with the Two of Swords reversed, whatever decision is made for keeps in your favor. This can be a week as well for a lot of you who are trying to do some elimination of something expensive, some kind of long-term spending issue, or maybe even a payment plan, something's been kind of, maybe a hole in our financial bucket. The Two of Swords reversed can indicate an opportunity to finally fill patch or even eliminate that issue. And this could again come from some kind of extra money that is becoming a new regular in your monthly take-home income. And so that opportunity, again, we've already seen that with the Sun trying to Pluto retrograde. We've already seen a lot of things talking about a really good financial week ahead, so I'm not surprised that that's going to be on the table. For your communications with air, when it comes to your friends, your relatives, the others in your life, we do have the Lovers reversed. Okay, and this card can often indicate a pair. Okay, whether it's a pair of siblings, another couple in your life, or maybe even just a partnership, or even like two roommates, whatever. The fractious relationship, or a relationship becoming fractious, may actually start to impact more than just that. You know, we all know people who kind of like, oh, those two brothers are fighting, and for some reason it's bringing the whole family down, or the whole group down. Or that couple is fighting and they're just letting it all hang out and it's really uncomfortable, but, you know, they're kind of a big part of the group, or, you know, those kinds of things. We have a fractious friendship or a fractious relationship sort of spilling out, you know, and creating problems for people who aren't really a part of it. And that might be a place where you want to consider, you know, employing a bit of the wizard, you know, kind of message here. Where do we kind of get this situation contained? It's not our job to patch them up or break them apart, but how do we make sure that the drama that comes from this doesn't actually serve to alienate them or us anymore? And that might be a big thing to talk about, you know, and sometimes, you know, people don't want to hear that. Some couples, some, you know, some sibling pairs, even our kids, you know, sometimes they just don't care that, you know, it's out on the lawn, if that makes sense. For your challenge this week with fire, we do have the Eight of Wands reversed. Again, holding back too much. Okay, that seems to be a big theme this week, Aries. Holding back too much to the point where it almost comes off like a misfire. Alright? If you have been, you know, taking a platform of non-activity when it comes to speaking your mind, getting involved, even when it comes to handling people that you do care about, try and look and see where we've kind of stepped away from being polite and respectful and gone into all-out just negligent. Because there may be a need to get back involved. You know, sometimes it's like, yeah, we don't want to get involved in that person's private life. We don't feel like we're directly involved, nothing's happening to us, so we shouldn't get involved. It's not in our backyard, right? Well, you know, the Eight of Wands reversed is kind of saying, maybe you need to be a little bit more careful with, you know, with what you're holding back. Because the Eight of Wands reversed can often indicate, you know, a lack of contribution could be contributing to stagnation in a lot of places, in a lot of areas. You know, and so this week, if you have been kind of holding back, if you've been not putting in that 2 cents, there's obviously, don't do it disrespectfully, but there's a way to get it done. And all of this reading is talking about making sure that we're not afraid to get ourselves involved. For your emotions with water and your romantic life, we've got the Sun card reversed. It seems like everything good is happening to you personally, and your biggest challenges are how to, you know, maybe control damage that's going on elsewhere. Because the Sun card reversed is actually a really nice card, even though it's reversed. You know, it does indicate that when it comes to, say, you and a crush, you and a partner, you and a new person, there's going to be some real big steps taken towards how do we get the time back into balance. You know, the Sun card reversed is indicating, you know, if you've been burning out on a routine that you and a lover or you and a romantic situation are stuck in, the feeling is mutual. So if you've been worried about how do I bring this up with him or her, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, maybe I don't like the fact that, you know, maybe we're spending all the wrong kind of time together, or you know, maybe we don't spend enough time together. You know, the Sun card reverse can indicate an opportunity to patch things up when feelings are mutual. That being said, as well, for you single Aries people, the Sun card reverse can indicate a clue may come to you that, you know, a feeling from a crush or an interest of yours is also mutual. But it does need to be brought out so that both people feel comfortable speaking their minds. And it doesn't look like, you know, with the Sun card reverse that's going to be too hard to do. We just may need to have an occasion where some of that tension can be mutually acknowledged. So that is your horoscope, Aries. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. You know I appreciate it. And of course, if you ever want to get a session, you can always follow the links below, or go to integrativemysticism.com.